Everyone was welcomed. There was a happy environment around us, filled with laugh and love. I don't know why, but Jin Hang looked slightly uncomfortable to me. I went toward him and asked him, "Is everything all right?" He nodded his head and replied, "Will you take me to my room?" I helped Jin Hang and get up, walk along with him to the room. Jin Hang sat down on the bed, and I caressed his head a little. Her young face had a different expression, as if something was hurting him. He closed his eyes and I thought, he slept. I moved outside to call Namjanao and tell him to sit with him. But I had barely stepped out when I heard his loud voice. I ran back toward him and he yelled more loudly. "They, I think." I gasped. So suddenly, it's just 8 months. Namjoon, Janang shouted loudly, pulling me out of my thought. I gazed his head and muttered, "Breathe, Hang. Breathe." I called Namjoon Hang. "Just breathe." He nodded his head, suppressing his voice. I ran outside and searching for Namjoon Hang. He wasn't around. I don't know where he was. I was searching for someone else. But when I needed you, no one was visible. I ran outside from the main door, and my eyes found Jungkook and Namjoon Hang standing together. I ran toward them, and his eyes fell on me. "What happened? Why are you running, Kate?" He held my hand tightly. "It's Ayong, Jin Ayong," I gasped while speaking, and as soon as this word left my mouth, Namjoon Hang rushed into the room. We followed him behind. Without thinking twice, he picked Jin Hang up in his arm and rushed toward the room. From the back door, as guests were still present in the hall. Jungkook rushed toward the car and parked it in front of the back door. Nam Jin sat along with Jin Hyung, and Jungkook asked me to sit on the passenger seat. "I need to pick up her bag. Kids are alone. I cannot," I said. "Doesn't matter, Dee. Jin needs you. Please, I'll call Uma on the way." Namjoon pleaded, and I sat beside Jungkook. He drove us to the hospital at full speed. On the way, I called Miss John and informed her about everything. She said that she will be there in the hospital, leaving kids behind the maids. Jin Hyung was taken inside, as the doctor said that he needed to be operated immediately. Namjoon was moving back and forth outside. Jungkook and I was leaning against the wall. He was holding my hand tightly. I know his brother was afraid of. I was trying to calm Jungkook down, but calming Namjoon seemed more impossible. Miss John arrived. She was praying silently. It was after an hour when we heard the crying voice of the baby, and a big smile tugged my lips. I looked at Jungkook, but he wasn't smiling. His jaw was tense. I squeezed his hand a little, and he gulped. As soon as the doctor came outside, the two brothers stood in front of her and asked at the same time, "How's Jin?" "Relax. The mother is fine." Namjoon joined his hand and thanked God silently. Jungkook muttered the same. The doctor continued, "It's a girl, and she is healthy, desperate being born before time. Indeed a brave girl. Many congratulations." Namjoon's face lighted up with a wide smile, and at the same went with Jungkook. He squeezed my hand lightly, and I looked into his happy eyes. He leaned down a little and whispered in my ear, "Congratulations, Theoma." I grinned and wished him back. "You too, Bunny Appa." Jungkook kissed the crown of my head, while Namjoon moving inside to check on Jin Hao, who was unconscious. The nurse came outside with the baby girl and handed her over to me. I hesitated first, but the feeling of taking a newborn in my arm for the very first time was incredible for me. Her eyes were closed. As I saw her in my arms, she opened her small eyes, slowly exposing her beautiful brown small eyes. Her finger was so small, even smaller than when I had her first. Everything was so beautiful. She was pressed by me to her grandmother, by then her to her Jungkook Appa, and to her Appa. We adored her until Jin Hang conscious was back. Jin Hang literally had big drop of tear in his eyes when he saw her first and held her daughter in his arm. He moved his eyes to Nam Jin Hang, who was sitting beside him on the stool, and said, "I had told you, it will be a daughter." He grinned and kissed on his forehead. It was so miracle to see that lovebirds of our house in such a happy mood with their newborn in their arms together. So magical. How the newborn came in our life and light up everyone's moods. Jungkook was standing beside me, snaked his arms around my waist from behind, and said, I felt him leaning against me as his hot breath was winning over my earlobe, and he whispered in my ear, "I want to complete my family now." I rested my head against his chest and said in a low voice, while adoring them, "Me too, my own happy, complete family."